Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Luxury Microfiber here in Dallas, Texas. Someone's going to say, Scott, did Comet come out with a cart? No, I kind of had to make a makeshift cart there. I'll go into it in a minute. I want to talk about, I uploaded a video not too long ago about the AR Blue Clean 613 made in Italy power washer. There were a bunch of people who commented below it, hey, what happened to the Comet? Are you walking away from the Comet line? Actually, for the last 5 months, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, phone calls, emails, text messages. Scott, are you ever going to get the Comet back in stock? What I want to start off by saying is that I absolutely enjoy the Comet. It has some limitations and I want to discuss it. The reason ultimately I'm walking away from the Comet line is a logistics point of view. I couldn't get enough to be able to sell them. If I got 10 of them, I was sold out within 3 days. People wanted them. I couldn't meet the demand. And when I would go to Comet, I would say, hey, can you give me 20, 30, 40 more? That's where it became difficult. Comet was like, we don't have any more. We don't really have a good due date when they're coming from Italy, but we'll get back to you. And that was difficult for me from a logistics point of view and from a business point of view. I couldn't deal with it anymore. The other issue was how we shipped this thing to our end user. Once we received it from Italy, we got to send it to the end user. There were issues with some of the components breaking, especially the handle around the reel. What we actually had to do was kind of take this apart and ship it in 2 boxes, which increased my cost, right? I had to pay employees to take it out of the box it came in and repackage it so it was more UPS or FedEx friendly. That was difficult for me, so I couldn't do that. So when I look at the Comet 1700, and what I fell in love with it is if you hung it on the garage wall and that's where it stayed, unless you wanted to take it off to store it, it was a great machine. I want to talk about the numbers. The Comet was rated, I think, for 1450 or 1500 PSI at 2.1 gallons per minute. I want to talk about electric power washers and the real world numbers. One of the reasons why we absolutely love the Comet is we don't really, those who understand electric power washers, and we also understand the sweet spot we're looking for when we want real numbers in the real world as far as taking care of our car, washing our vehicle. We want something over 1,000 PSI and around 2.0 gallons per minute. The Comet was really great for that. If we used a nozzle with an orifice of 4.0, we would get somewhere around 1,000 PSI and 1.9 gallons per minute. The fact it was Italian made, its convenience of being hung on the garage wall and getting those numbers, 2 thumbs up to us. That's what we loved. That's what we want. The other thing I want to talk about is I would get people who would say to me, Scott, okay, I like the idea of hanging it on the wall. Can I transport it? Can I use it as a mobile detailer? How about as a homeowner? Can I take this in my backyard, pull it off the wall, set it on the ground, and hook a hose to it? Well, that's where it became a little difficult. The inlet for the pump is straight down, meaning that if this is on the garage wall, it's great. The hose goes right into it. But if you wanted to take it off the garage wall and make it versatile and use it around the home, clean patio furniture with it, Comet had a solution. It was a little plastic elbow. To be honest with you, I never recommended the plastic elbow. It was janky, it would break, it was tough. But I do want to say this, there are other distributors in the United States that are carrying the Comet. These are smart guys, they're out-of-the-box thinkers. They want to help and create solutions for a $600 power washer. So they came up with, or they outsourced a little elbow, I think it was galvanized or aluminum, and they would attach it to the pump so that you could bring a hose in from the side if you wanted to set the Comet on the ground or make yourself a little makeshift cart like this, right? Well, that was fine. That was cool. The only problem with that, you got to be a little careful when you go to put that elbow in or that fitting, because you can crack the brass pump. I want to say this respectfully, I didn't want to engage in this because at the end of the day, including myself, we were paying a lot of money for a high quality machine, but we needed to come up with solutions, and that's where I felt like I needed to back up. Again, to be perfectly honest with you, it was always meant to be on the garage wall, not to be transported. So I don't want to, beat up Comet for that. That wasn't their issue, but they did create that plastic elbow, and that was their solution to it, but really not all that practical, not all that versatile. So that was some of the reasons why I ended up walking away from the Comet. There were people that said, hey, I'm not a big fan of the hose or the reel. Can I get it without it? No, you just had to get it that way. I actually like the hose and reel. I've owned this thing for quite some time and have no problems with it. But with the AR613, made in Italy power washer, much more versatile. You can see the footprint is smaller. It's meant to be put on a cart. It's meant to be taken off the cart and set on the ground. You can also put it on a shelf. They also have a wall mount for it, which I'll get into in the future, which is really nice. So if you look at all the versatility of the 613, and the specs are slightly better with the AR Blue Clean, it made sense to walk this direction and kind of walk away from the Comet because of all the logistic issues I was having, and that's how I came into contact with AR Blue. I've been having a relationship with them now for about 4 to 5 months, tested all their machines, and I said, this is the winner for me. The real world specs on this thing with maintaining and washing our cars is great. The GPM is great, much more versatile than the Comet, so it made sense. We're also not being handcuffed, if you will, right? Maybe you don't like the hose and reel, but with the AR Blue, we can use the accessories that we want. We don't have to retrofit anything. We don't have to modify anything. It's ready to go out of the box. That was really cool. Does that make sense to you guys? Again, if you have the Comet and it came to you in one piece, I say that lovingly, and you hung it on the garage wall, you've got a nice machine. There's nothing wrong with it, and you'll enjoy the experience. But for those who want more versatility, you'd have to look somewhere else. And I think I covered everything I've got. Those who are interested in that cart, that's actually a cart off an older power washer, and I put a piece of wood on it and put the Comet on it so I can wheel it around and do some yard work or clean some patio furniture. That's how I've come up with my own solution. But I'm sorry to see the Comet go, but it was the best decision for me. A lot of stress with the logistics of it, being worried about how it was being shipped. Would it break if it got to the client? What about this elbow? Should we supply an elbow? Do we tell people they can use it mobily and transport it? The answer to me was no. Let's walk away from it. Not that we weren't grateful as a distributor, and let's find a better solution. Hope that helps you guys out. Talk to you soon. Love you all.